What's up, guys? Eric Bright, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, January 21st. I am back in the office because it's, I don't know, 16 degrees with wind chills in the single digits. So, no fun on the water today. Have made it out a few days last week. I know we shot a video on Tuesday, was back out Wednesday, Thursday before the rain hit. Then, of course, we got rain, snow, freezing rain, kind of the same thing we got going later this week. So that's going on. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 918.8 as of this morning, puts us 3.8 feet above normal pool. Like I said, we do have more rain and snow predicted for tomorrow and Thursday. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, beavers 5-6 feet high. Bull Shoals is 8 feet high and rising. Sorry, guys, down in Bull Shoals, you know all this stuff winds up running downhill and winds up raising your lake level. They are dropping the lake as fast as they can right now. We've gone from 5 feet high to just over 4 feet high, even with the additional rain we got last week. So I expect to see a lot of current run through the lake the rest of the week. As far as water temperature is concerned, you know, we are starting to see a little bit colder temperature, and I'm sure these last couple of days and nights have probably affected it a little bit. It's not going to have a massive drop, but we did late last week, early in the morning. We went a little bit up the James, but it was pretty dirty, so we didn't go too far up there. Did see 46, 47. Water got kind of dirty. We turned around and went back up the White, where again we were seeing 48, 49. But I think these cooler temperatures are going to really knock it down. We're about 48, I'm going to say, probably by the end of the week, if I can get back out there. Depending on the weather, we're going to start to see mid-40s. That in mind, we did throw a stick bait a little bit and did catch a few on a stick bait last week as well. But if you guys are coming down, so you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, still your most consistent bite is going to be on the deep bite. Definitely catching them on the scuba spoon, catching them on the Rapala jigging Rap. Starting to catch a few more on a drop shot too. We messed with that last week a little bit, and it seems like when you get these fish that are not nearly as aggressive, you can get them to eat a drop shot where you couldn't get them to eat it before, especially if they're not eating the scuba spoon or the jigging Rap. These fish tend to want something a little bit more subtle, so we have been fishing the drop shot with a shad shape or a cut tail on it. Most of the deep fish are still pretty deep. They're in the guts of the creeks. You gotta have shad around. Overall depth anywhere from about 55 to 85. Most of the fish are in that 40 to 60, even 65 foot range. So keep that in mind if you're going to go look for them deep. Like I said, did throw a stick bait, threw it more up the river, up the White River than I did down by the dam. But I'm going to say the stick bait bite's probably going to be just as good down by the dam as it is anywhere else on the lake. Throwing a Megabass Vision 110 plus 1 was the better bait, working around secondary points, steeper points with big chunk rock on it and with some timber on it. Didn't have to have a lot of timber. It was actually better if we had 1 or 2 trees on a point. Seemed to really hold those fish and kind of concentrate the fish. So look for that. Most of the fish, boat was in about 25 or 30. I'd say most of the fish were suspended about 5 to 10 feet down, over about 15 to 18 foot deep. So keep that in mind. Did catch a few on a jig as well down by the lower end. Jewel Pro Spider jig was really good, working it around those same steeper banks and around some of the boat docks. It was kind of a mixed sunny and cloudy day, and it seemed like if you got around some boat docks that had some shade out in about 10 to 15 foot deep, you can get a couple of bites there. Nothing really great, but we did catch a few on a jig as well down there. Going to the mid-lake area, same bites are working. You definitely have a good strong deep bite down there with a scuba spoon, Rapala jigging Rap, or a drop shot rig. Fish are in the same location. So really not catching a lot on the main lake. I think it's with this current, the shad aren't as concentrated on the main lake, so we're catching most of them back in the creeks, right around the gut of the creek. Again, overall depth seems to be 50 to 80, maybe even 90 feet deep. Tend to be catching more around the treetops than I am away from the treetops, but it varies every day. It just depends on where the shad are. If the shad are around the trees, you're going to catch them around the trees. If the shad are between the trees, you're not going to catch them between the trees. But definitely a good deep bite in the mid-lake area. A-rig bite, didn't talk about it at the dam, but we are catching them all over the lake on an A-rig as well. Again, most of these fish are on secondary points. We're really not doing a whole lot out on the main lake right now. Most of them on secondary points, a little bit of timber around, a little bit steeper, keeping the boat 35 to 40 feet deep, making a long cast, counting it down, getting it down about 10 to 15 feet and working it back slow. Just kind of slow reeling it, giving it a twitch every once in a while. Can start catch a few on the A-rig as well. Stick bait bite, I'm sure it's working in the mid-lake just like it was working up the White River last week. I mean, we're not loading the boat yet. It's not awesome stick bait season. We need to get this water temperature down a little bit more, but we are catching them on a stick bait, especially if you see the shad up in the water column. Seems like they'll eat a stick bait quite a bit better. Again, secondary points, isolated timber, steeper points, about 25 to 30. Most of the fish suspended 5 to 10 feet down, over 15 to 20 feet. Seems to be the key on that. And then the Jewel Pro Spider jig as well. We caught a few around docks. Back in Fisher Creek, back in Schooner Creek, we caught a few around docks last week. Basically working over the shady areas of the dock with Okeechobee Blue or Green Pumpkin Candy were the two best colors, matched up with a Speed Cross seemed to work out best for us. Go up into the James River. Now the James was dirty when I was up there last week. Actually, it was so dirty and we wanted to throw a stick bait that we didn't get much further than, well, I guess we got up about Hideaway and it started to really muddy up. I'm sure it's cleared up quite a bit by now, but it just got more of a mud color than a stain color. From Hideaway on up, we fished downstream from there, caught a few on a stick bait. Megabass Vision 110, actually back in Jackson Hollow, was pretty good. Most of the fish are on secondary points, steeper banks, isolated timber. They had a whole row of trees, couldn't get bit. 1 or 2 trees, you can get a bite. Doing that, catching them on a jig up there as well, working those steeper, almost stair-step type ledgy banks with a 7/16 Jewel Pro Spider jig. Okeechobee Blue, Missouri Craw, Bass Whacker were actually the two better colors we had. Matched up with a Speed Craw and really put a lot of orange or chartreuse on the pinchers of the Speed Craw, just so it shows up a little bit better, so you can get bit a little bit better. I'm sure you can probably catch them further up now because the water is probably cleared a lot more. I would definitely throw a stick bait, throw an A-rig. We threw an A-rig up there on the lower end of it as well. Caught a few around, same sort of deal, isolated timber, steeper banks, suspended down about 10 to 15 foot deep. But I think you can probably catch them further up now because I'm sure the water's cleared. I'm not sure what this rain's going to do to it the rest of the week. Go up into the White River. That's where last trip I took last week was up the White River. Really a strong bite up the White, really good deep bite. Scuba spoon, jigging wrap, drop shot rig. Again, most of them in the creeks, not really catching much out on the main lake. You actually spent some time on some main lake flats trying to catch them, and about the only thing I can catch are about 8 to 10 inch white bass down 72 feet deep. So most of the bass we're catching back in the creeks, overall depth 50 to 80. Most of them are suspended. Again, if you don't see shad, don't bother going back in there. Don't spend a whole lot of time back in there if you're not seeing shad. We're just not getting bit if there's no shad around. Stick bait bite was fairly strong up there as well. Again, we're not loading the boat with it, but it's nice to start getting a bite on the stick bait. Really encouraging for what's going to happen over the next couple of months. Secondary points, steeper points. Megabass Vision 110 +1 was my best bait. We did catch a few on a mixed stick and a few on the +2 as well. Steeper secondary points with isolated timber on it was definitely key. A-rig bite, catching them on an A-rig. Again, we got to get back in the creeks. Can't seem to get bit out on the main lake on anything right now. Catching them out around trees, steeper secondary points. Most of them suspended 10 to 15 feet down, maybe a little bit shallower if the shad are up. If you see shad up, you're going to fish it a little bit shallower. 10 to 15 feet down, over, I mean, as much as 70 foot. We were out fishing deep and decided to throw an A-rig a couple of times, caught a couple of them suspended because we were seeing them on the graph. But they are suspended in that 10 to 15 to 20 feet down. You can catch them on an A-rig doing that. And then the jig bite, we did catch a few on a jig while I was up there, just kind of messing around boat docks. Just wanted to do something different. 7/16 Jewel Pro Spider jig. Okeechobee Blue was the best color up there. Did catch a couple on a Green Pumpkin Candy, but most of them were Okeechobee Blue. Matched up with a Speed Craw as a trailer on it. Guys, it is 3/4 of the way through January. Winter is finally here. It's been cold the last 3 nights, last 3 days. Supposed to get above freezing today. Yay. But fishing's been good. Fishing's been good. We're catching some fish. The deep bite's been good. Really was concerned that with all this current it would shut down like it did last year, but it really hasn't yet. So if you guys are coming down wanting to fish deep, now's the time to do it. Want to learn how to fish an A-rig, now's the time to do it. Probably going to be catching them on a stick bait in the next couple of weeks. So definitely if you want to learn how to throw a stick bait, good time to come down and look at that as well. But guys, if you're coming down, want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com, and either shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. Guys, thanks for watching. Again, please subscribe if you hadn't subscribed. Doesn't cost nothing. But thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.